Do not let fear sneak into your pricing model, your programs, and your sales conversation. And I know that's not an easy thing, but this is why with clients, we give them meditation tactics, visualization tactics. We do a beautiful exercise called a letter to money, so we can actually uncover and have awareness around our relationship with money, and where we have limiting old beliefs that are actually holding us back during conversations and in our pricing models. And more on that later. Welcome to Inspiration Contagion, where we spread inspiration one story at a time. I am your host, Holly Jean Jackson. Each interview spotlights transformational business leaders, their stories, challenges, and advice for how you too can lead yourself and others through inspiration. Learn how you too can achieve peak performance, build more revenue, and lead the legacy you were meant to lead. Let's talk about exactly how your pricing and your packages reveal what you really believe about the value you're offering in your business. And we're going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes that I see countless business owners, consultants, speakers, authors making when it comes to their offers and their pricing, and where they're leaking profit and really showing their true colors and not in a positive way. So let's talk about how most people don't realize that their pricing is actually showing their imposter syndrome, their lack mindset, not abundance, their lack of clarity on the value that they're offering, and really their discomfort with their relationship to money. What do I mean by this? Well, for a lot of the folks I work with, they are undercharging significantly. And it's because they're fixed and set on charging by an hourly rate for the market. They're not looking at the outcome and the pain that they're helping their prospect and their client overcome. And when you break it down to that, then you're going to have really weird pricing models. But when you think about, okay, I'm helping Sally get out of this significant pain, this significant lack, this significant thing that's urgent for her to solve. And Sally can't do it without my experience, without all of the years and decades that I've put into the program that I have, without me breaking it down into simple terms to help Sally so that she's not overwhelmed, she's not stuck, she has the next step she needs to take in a simple way that's supported and she's held accountable. When you reframe your programs around the pain point you're solving, the outcome you're giving your client or your prospect, it makes it a lot easier and more exciting and more freeing to charge the actual true value and true worth of what you're giving your client. It is not just about how many hours you're facing with that client. It's not about the specific course you're delivering, the book you're giving them, the speech that you're sharing on stage. It's about the outcome. It's about how many years of your life experience you have spent putting sweat and blood and tears and strain into creating what you are an expert in. This should be exciting. When I have conversations with clients around pricing, they get so stressed out and they feel so stuck and so overwhelmed, where I like to reframe that and help them get into a state of abundance, a state of excitement, a state of service. And when we show up from a state of service, we don't leave lack on the table. We don't face issues around imposter syndrome. And the pricing conversation and the sales conversation becomes fun again. I also want to talk about pricing and alignment to our legacy, our purpose, and our profit. One, you don't have a business if you don't have profit. And even if you're a healer, you still need profit. In fact, the investment is more about your client and their mindset and how they show up differently when they invest in themselves than it is about you and what you're earning and the value of your program. It is equally important for them to exchange that money energetically with you so that they can get the outcome. They show up differently. They show up more awake, more invested, more excited about the outcome. But additionally, as we charge and think about pricing, I like to think about our passion and our purpose and our legacy. For us in our business, we believe we are healing the world by helping more business owners, authors, and speakers go big to give big that are heart-centered. They're doing good things in the world. They're helping one client, one community, one family at a time heal their lives so that they can be in their superpower. And that is how we turn more lights on in this world. And we share light over darkness, love over fear. And that's where true healing comes from. So it's easy for me to sell packages and programs when I connect with my passion, my purpose, and my legacy. I want you to think about your programs and your packages in the same way that's tied to your legacy, your passion, your purpose. And when you sell your programs that way and you look at pricing that way, you're going to step into a stance of abundance, a stance of excitement, a stance of service. And that's where the magic and the miracles happen in your business. It also helps us rebuild our confidence and increase our conversion rates on sales calls. When we aren't thinking of lack, we aren't thinking about getting the next sale, we aren't thinking just about the dollars. Energy is simply an exchange of money, an exchange of energy. We don't need to sit there and just focus on the dollar amount. We need to focus on the transformation our client will experience, the change that we're making in the world in a bigger picture, the ripple effect that we are creating. And when we step into that, we feel excited, we feel good. The sales conversation becomes fun, it becomes abundant and uplifting for everyone involved. You will show up with swagger and you're going to have a little more zest in your conversations. And your client and prospects can feel that, and they will feel more confident, more supported, and more excited on how they can work with you. Our mindset, we have a lot of mindset traps, and they sneak into our revenue model. And this is where clients come to me and they're desperate for sales. They're seeing kind of a dip in their revenue for the quarter. And their first thought is to cut their pricing and to discount. That is not the right answer. When we discount our packages and our programs, we're also equally discounting the value of the programs that we're offering. And this doesn't build or instill confidence to our clients. It does the reverse. It makes them less excited and less encouraged and less confident that you're able to solve their pain points for them. So be really careful that you're in a state of abundance, you're in a state of service, you're really thinking about your legacy and the client's outcome as you set your pricing and as you go into these beautiful sales conversations. Underpricing our programs actually signals fear and anxiety. It does not signal confidence and generosity. And that's the opposite of what we want in our business, and certainly tied to the legacy we're building in this world. Do not let fear sneak into your pricing model, your programs, and your sales conversation. And I know that's not an easy thing, but this is why with clients, we give them meditation tactics, visualization tactics. We do a beautiful exercise called a letter to money, so we can actually uncover and have awareness around our relationship with money and where we have limiting old beliefs that are actually holding us back during conversations and in our pricing models. And more on that later. If you have questions on that, send me an email at holly@hollyjeanjackson.com and say letter to money, and we'll send you that link and then the next step for that if you're curious about your limiting beliefs and your relationship with money. We also have quite a few realignment exercises that we do with clients on price based on value and sustainability. In fact, a lot of our clients stay with us for several years. They'll do an initial package where we do specific project-based consulting work. But then after we have that, there's this afterglow of success with the client. And we want to make sure that that client continues momentum, that their team is fully supported. And so we want to sustain that, which is why we offer kind of like a maintenance package so that they have fractional support for their team and they have accountability to continue that growth and that momentum, but also have a mentor and somebody to check in with on how is our strategy. Here's a new idea we have. How do we test this? What is the next thing in the marketing space? We're seeing this slip in our sales conversion. Having somebody in your corner to see your blind spots, hold you accountable, and help you continue achieving momentum is equally important and should be part of your pricing, your product suite, and as well as your upselling for your clients so that you can stay ahead of the pain points and challenges your clients will have in the future. There's nothing worse than buying a program, having massive success, and then totally backing off the gas pedal and losing all of that traction and that momentum. We want to stay 10 steps ahead of our clients and know exactly where they're going to get stuck and offer that as a service for them so that we can continue with that legacy for them and for you and your company. And here's the other thing. The last thing I'll leave you with is it's not about charging more. It's about charging the right amount for you. And a lot of my clients will say, well, gosh, Holly, I want to be able to work with nonprofits or people that might not be able to afford me. Great. We can offer scholarships. We can offer sliding scale pricing models so that it is tied to your legacy. If you're somebody who wants to work with nonprofits, and some nonprofits don't have budget, but they're aligned to your long-term legacy, that big motivating factor that gets you out of bed, inspired, juiced up every day, awesome. Let's discount it and give them in kind a lower price point for the fact that they're a nonprofit, and still in the contract share the value of the program and how you're in kind discounting it because they're aligned with your legacy, your mission, and your vision. That way there's no pricing confusion. They understand the value of the program. They also show up in a different stance, knowing that the value of the program is still higher and they're getting a discount. This actually reminds them that they need to show up even more into the program and more committed, more excited, more committed to making this actually work. And when we do this, we allow those clients, even with that in-kind discount, to show up the same way our clients who are paying the full amount because they understand the value of the program. So again, stop discounting the value of your program. Stop thinking in terms of hours. Think about where your client is, the pain point you solve, how many decades, years, how much pain you've put into this, how many hours of expertise you have, the superpower you bring to the table. That's where I want you to think when you're pricing your programs. And that's where I want you to lean in to abundance when you're on your sales conversations. I hope this is valuable for you. If you're still feeling stuck on this, this is why we open up revenue and performance roadmap calls to folks who are longstanding listeners on the podcast to help you get unstuck. Once again, we want to help you go big to give big. So if you want to have a deeper conversation around your revenue blenders, your pricing models, and how to get into that stance of abundance, please grab a link. We have it in the show notes, or if you're watching on YouTube, we have it in the comments below. You've got this. Be a light in the world. Let's choose love over fear and light over dark. I'll see you on our next episode. Thanks.
Thank you for joining the show today. I hope you were inspired. More importantly, I hope you take action. If the show inspired you, I ask that you subscribe and share it with your network. Let's spread inspiration together today.